So the first thing we're going to look at is the blue line right here, where it was 10% back in 2021. When interest rates dropped, appreciation rates went through the roof. Now we look at 2022. Appreciation rates started off the year at 26%. They peaked out right here, and that's when the low rates peaked out and rates started to go up. Then we see a trend back down in 2022. In 2023, same thing. The market started even lower and went lower throughout the year to where it averaged off around 14%. A lot of people were still able to get some of the better rates. Then you go into the turquoise right here, which is 2024, from 14%. You can see it dropped off during the summer, kind of gone up a little bit in August with higher demand, and then continues to drop. Welcome back to the channel. It's now 2025. We're going to give you an update on the market. We're going to show the active listings, the sold listings, and then we're going to look at annual appreciation in Scottsdale. We're going to show you what the big websites like Redfin are saying, and then we're going to show you the real data in the MLS. And if you like the information we're putting out, we'd appreciate if you would hit the like button, give us a thumbs up on the video, then YouTube will share it with more people. And if you want to subscribe to get our weekly updated videos, please hit the subscribe button. Let's get into the information and see where we're at. So the first thing we're going to look at is the Cromford report. They put out a lot of good information off our MLS data, so it's more accurate than the big websites like Zillow and Redfin. So we have a supply index of 58.3, meaning overall we're low on inventory. It's still giving us a slight buyer's market in some parts of Scottsdale, but this is a broad video. If we really wanted to narrow it down, we would go South Scottsdale, Central Scottsdale, and North Scottsdale. You can see demand index is still below normal, where 100 would be our normal index. Now, the 30-year fixed mortgage, this is a jumbo rate. If you were buying a home under $1 million, just depending on how much money you borrow, if you're around the $800,000 mark in the borrowing, we would look at a non-jumbo mortgage. But you can just see the trend, and it's the same with the 30-year fixed, where the rates dropped all the way down throughout the year. In September, hit their bottom. They jumped way back up. The stock market and the economy, we're hoping we'd see the Fed funds rate drop, and eventually that would lead into mortgages, but it didn't happen. The Fed said they're probably going to hold off on more reductions. Again, they're worried about inflation and high employment. The last thing on the mortgage front, every time I go on a listing appointment, my clients seem to tell me they think that their home is going to sell for cash because that's what's out there. And that's not the case. It is more popular with the 55 plus crowd and with the lower prices. But even in most of those neighborhoods where there is a lot of people paying with cash, it's still normally right around 50-50 as to whether they're going to pay cash or not. It just depends on their situation. But it's not as common as it was back in early 2022 and the end of 2021. So here you can see the demand index for Scottsdale. It's on the rise. It kind of dropped down here in September, and now it's starting to go back up. And that's not uncommon. That's kind of more of a seasonal trend. Most of the people here, our biggest market is from January through the end of April into May, where in other places like Minnesota, it would be more popular in the summer. So right here, you can see our supply. Our supply has been steadily going up if you look at this chart. Now, recently, it's dropped off again. That's because a lot of people take their houses off the market for the holidays. According to Redfin, Scottsdale housing market is somewhat competitive. Homes receive up to 2 offers on average and sell in around 54 days. The median price of a home in Scottsdale was $860,000 last month, up 4.8% since last year. The median sales price per square foot is $422, up 2.3% for last year. Let's get into our MLS data and see if that's really the case. First of all, in Scottsdale right now, we currently have inventory up quite a bit at 1,205. We currently have under contract 594. So what we're looking at, one metric that we look at is absorption rate. It's how many homes are on the market total versus how many homes are going under contract, and then how many homes are closing within the last 30 days. We had 1,200 homes on the market. We have just around 600 homes under contract. That's great. That's a huge absorption rate. That means about 50% of the homes are being absorbed every single month. But how many actually closed? We had 305 homes close in Scottsdale in the last 30 days. So that means more are under contract right now than went under contract prior. So that means the market is trending in an upward direction, which is common this time of year as we go into the better weather. Lastly, we want to look at annual appreciation. This is something people ask about all the time. So the first thing we're going to look at is the blue line right here, where it was 10% back in 2021. When interest rates dropped, appreciation rates went through the roof. Now we look at 2022. Appreciation rates started off the year at 26%. They peaked out right here, and that's when the low rates peaked out and rates started to go up. Then we see a trend back down in 2022. In 2023, same thing. The market started even lower and went lower throughout the year to where it averaged off around 14%. A lot of people were still able to get some of the better rates. Then you go into the turquoise right here, which is 2024, from 14%. You can see it dropped off during the summer, kind of gone up a little bit in August with higher demand, and then continues to drop. So in the overall valley, we're seeing a huge increase in supply. Last year, we started out with around 10,000 homes on the market. Now we're at 21,000 homes. So buyers have a lot more options. Scottsdale's kind of specific. A lot of people come here and can afford to live in Scottsdale. It's a beautiful city and they're willing to pay more. The average price per square foot in Scottsdale is substantially higher than it is in Phoenix and some of the other areas around the valley. Overall, we're seeing the market probably going sideways for the next 12 months. A lot of people out there are hoping that rates will drop, and we have a new president in there right now, and we'll see how that affects the economy.